Okay, now we are going to take what we just learned about those ratios, sine, cosine, and tangent, and we are going to use that information with our calculators to find missing parts on right triangles. So here we have a right triangle. The hypotenuse is called H. One of the angles is B, and one of the angles is 24 degrees. One of the legs, the longer leg, is 9.5, and the other short leg is called Y. We have one angle, 24 degrees. So we're going to do any trig functions we use are going to be in relationship to the 24-degree angle to start with, because we have that angle, we know what it is. What sides do we have? Well, if we're talking about the 24-degree angle, we have the adjacent side. That's the side that touches it. One function we could use that would have only one unknown if we used it would be cosine, because cosine 24, if you look at the triangle, that is equal to 9.5, the adjacent side, to 24 over the hypotenuse, which is h. So this is an equation we can solve. All right, we want to get h by itself, so I'm going to multiply both sides by h. And I'm going to have h times cosine 24 is equal to 9.5. Now notice that h goes in front of the cosine because I am multiplying both sides of this equation by h. I'm just moving that h over to the left side. It is not part of the cosine or the 24. It is just something that's being multiplied by that, because that's how I could get it out of the denominator on the right side. Now, I want to get h by itself. Since this is multiplication, h times cosine 24, I can divide both sides by cosine 24, and I'll have h by itself. So I'm dividing both sides by cosine 24, which who knows what that is yet. I'm just going ahead and getting h by itself before I try to punch anything into my calculator. So cosines are gone, and I just have h is equal to 9.5 over cosine 24. And the only way I'm going to figure this out is to use my calculator. If you're using this calculator, I'm going to punch it in by saying 9.5 divided by 24 cosine. You have to hit the 24 first and then the cosine to take the cosine of 24. And then I'm going to have to hit equals in order to find out what that division gives me. And it's 10.4. If you don't hit equals, you'll just get the cosine of 24, and that won't be the right answer. In order to tell your calculator that you want to do the division, you have to hit equals. Okay, so that is h, the hypotenuse. All right, that is approximately the hypotenuse because it didn't come out to exactly 10.4. All right, since that's an approximate amount, I don't want to plug that in for h to use in finding b or y. I want to use the numbers they gave me to find b and y. So I have to figure out which trig functions are going to help me do that. Now, y is opposite to 24. So which trig function has opposite in it? And that's going to be sine or tangent. What other side do I have but 9.5, which is adjacent to 24? So since I have the 24 degrees, I have the adjacent side, I'm looking for the opposite side, I'm going to use tangent because that's what has all those things. So I'm going to say tangent of 24 is equal to opposite is y over adjacent, 9.5. Okay, I want to get y by itself, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 9.5. So I'm going to have 9.5 times tangent 24. Remember, don't let that 9.5 get mixed up with that tangent 24. That 24 needs to stay next to tangent. It's not multiplication. Tangent times 24. No, it is tangent of 24. That's all one thing. You cannot separate it. All right, and that is y. So I'm going to punch that into my calculator. This time I'm going to have 9.5 times 24 tangent. So that's what I'm going to hit. I'm going to hit 9.5, multiply 24, then hit the tangent key. That is immediately going to give me the tangent of 24. But that's not what I want for my answer. I want 9.5 times the tangent of 24. So I have to hit the equals sign to get the actual answer. I will get about 4.23 or y. All right, now b. There are two ways I can find b. The easiest way is just to remember that the angles in a triangle add up to 180, which means that 24 plus b plus the 90-degree angle, it should add up to 180. So 24 plus b is 90, which means that b is going to be 66 degrees. Okay, now we have a similar kind of problem, except this time they gave us the hypotenuse. They did not give us the legs at all. So I can go ahead and find b, since I can see, again, I'm going to want to just use the fact that the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180, so 35 plus b plus 90, the 90-degree angle, it should add up to 180. So 35 plus b is 90, which means that b is 55. So b is 55 degrees. I already know that now. I can use that if I want to, but I don't need to. I am looking for the opposite side to the 35-degree angle. X is opposite. I have the hypotenuse, which is 14, so I'm going to use, so sine 35 is equal to x over 14. I'm going to multiply both sides by 14 because I have 14 in the denominator, so 14 times sine 35 equals x. And I'm going to punch in 1, 4, multiply 3, 5, sine equals. I'm going to get that x is about 8.03. All right, to get m, I'm going to use cosine. So, going to plug that in. Cosine 35 is equal to adjacent, which is m, over hypotenuse, which is 14. So again, I'm going to multiply both sides of this equation by 14. So you will punch in 14 times 35 cosine equals, and you'll get about 11.47 for m. All right, now we have one where both angles are missing. So this is one where we will have to use an inverse trig function. All right, so let's say we want to find angle B. All right, so what do we have in relationship to angle B? Well, we have the opposite side to B, and we have the hypotenuse. So the trig function that involves opposite and hypotenuse is sine. So if we were going to do sine B, that would be opposite, which is 6, over hypotenuse, which is 7. Now, we're missing the angle this time. So we have to use the inverse trig function. So when you're missing the angle, you're going to use inverse sine function. So we're going to say, since sine B is 6/7, what we're actually doing is we're taking the inverse sine of 6/7, and that will give us B. So when the angle's missing, you take the ratio. I am going to hit 6 divided by 7. Then I have to hit equals because the calculator needs to know that I want to take the inverse sine function of 6 divided by 7, not just 6 or 7, but 6 divided by 7. So I get 6 divided by 7 by hitting the equals, and then I tell my calculator, second function, sine. And now I'm done. I don't have to hit equals again. If I hit equals, it's okay, but I don't have to because I just took the sine of 6/7. Sorry, the inverse sine of 6/7. So it's all good. All right, and if I punch that in, I get about 59 degrees. So B is about 59 degrees. All right, so now I can find X. Tangent of B is opposite over adjacent. So that's opposite over adjacent. So here's B, opposite is 6, adjacent is X. All right, I know B is about 59 degrees. That's what I'm going to put in for B. And that equals 6 over X. To get X by itself, I cannot divide by 6. That's not going to help me because X is in the denominator. So I need to multiply both sides by X, and I'll have X times tangent 59 equals 6. And now I have to divide both sides by tangent 59. Cancels. And I will punch into my calculator now. I will punch in 6 divided by 59 tangent. And then I have to hit equals. So I'm not dividing 59 by 6. Let me just make sure you understand that. I hit 6 divided by, and then the way my calculator understands tangent 59 is for me to punch in the 59 first and then hit tangent. So it's a little confusing, but you have to hit the equal sign at the end this time, because if you don't, all you will get is tangent 59. You have to tell the calculator, do the division. That's what the equals is telling it to do. All right, so 6 divided by 59, tangent equals, that's about 3.61 for X. Okay, and then to find A, I'm just going to use the fact that the interior angles of a right triangle add up to 180. So I've got 59 plus 90 plus A is 180. And so A is going to turn out to be 31 degrees.